Leftover lasagne.
Leftover lasagna.
Lasagna? No way.
It's a type of sandwich.
Some kind of gross pasta.
Leftover lasagna is a podcast
podcast
hosted
by
by
my
Nitin
charge
and Tony uncle. Leftover lasagna.
Very funny name.
Hello and welcome to Leftover Lasagna, the weekly podcast that's like your profile picture on LinkedIn. A podcast where we are trying to present the best version of ourselves, but like your LinkedIn picture, a podcast that's massively out of date. And much like that picture, this podcast speaks 1,000 words, but no one's listening. I am Tony. A chain may be only as strong as its weakest link, but my chain is only as strong as my weakest LinkedIn post. See, Hindi joke and all that.
Oh.
This is episode 28, recorded on the 28th of November. 28, of course, is 4 weeks, but my co host is not for the weeks. The man who has lapsed the corporate world and LinkedIn itself, the man whose face many want to get inked in and wishes he'd launch an alternate network called Kington. The pretty face with trenchant opinions has that synced in. Say hi.
Has that synced in? I have that sinking feeling as your intro goes from the sublime to the ridiculous. But no, it was, as usual, a wonderful intro. Welcome to the podcast, Tony. And since you mentioned LinkedIn, now I cannot not mention it. Congrats on your recent promotion to the role of partner. Renova partner. Getting a cut of everything that Mr. JRD Tata is making, I'm sure. Congrats, Tony.
JRD Tata, correct. That is correct. Everything that Mr. JRD Tata is making, I'm getting. He's long gone.
He's still getting royalties, I'm sure. Wait, who's the guy in charge now? Cyrus Mystery. No, he's no more. Who's in charge of Tata?
Okay, come on.
Ratan Tata. Hey, no, he died, no.
He's also...
So basically it's you. Tony, it's basically you. You realize that?
Yeah. I applied for the role of Chief of Staff.
So tell us more about your promotion and your new role.
No, this has happened a while ago. It just took time to update LinkedIn.
This is like those kids. This is like those kids who know that, they've got the first rank. The teacher has called them and told them, hey, you have only got first rank. Huh? Congrats. Don't tell anyone because the results are not yet announced. So then you have to keep it to yourself. Yeah. Then your other friends will ask you, Macha, I don't know what happened in the exam. Don't know what rank I'll get only. Also like, I also don't know what rank I'll get only. Like that. Huh?
My Instagram bio says, don't copy from my answer sheet. I have no idea what I'm doing. Right. And one of the things, Nitin, I appreciated about you last week, because I appreciated about myself a month ago, is the ability to roll back your convictions and where you're moving to next geographically. Right. So you decided to stick to Dubai, and in between we had this massive thing of, are we moving to Australia, are we not? Finally we're staying put. Right. So this is a rollback and then a LinkedIn post just to seal the deal so that, we don't get tempted.
So the funny thing is, you appreciated something about me last week, which you appreciated about yourself 1 month back, and your Instagram bio famously says, don't copy from me. So that's exactly how you're appreciating me, because I copied from you. But
correct. This is brilliant because, as you observed, in the span of 1 week, now we've recorded 3 podcasts, right? 2 different podcasts, 3 different episodes. And on the last episode that we recorded on Bits and Pieces, which Leftover Lasagna listeners won't know, I actually proposed to you. And lo and behold, 3 days later, the beard is back. So I'm happy, Nitin Sudhir. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. You are my partner.
I don't remember particularly which knee Rishabh Pant badly injured, right? But even for someone with extremely healthy knees that have not been through a potentially life-threatening accident, that shot cannot be played without pads, guys. Do you think about that? The physics of that shot is only made possible with the fact that you can fall on your knees. If cricket were a slightly different sport, that shot is not possible.
All sweeps.
You don't land on your knee, man. You go down on your knee. You should stand up now and try to go down on your knee and see if you're able to do it. And then try to fall on your knee and see if your knee is okay.
Nitin Sundar, will you marry me? My knee is hurting. This is why they do this only once in life.
Give me a ring. Yeah. Indeed. No, shout out to, the only other person who has featured on Leftover Lasagna. Nisha also pinged me, by the way, on social media and asked me where my beard was. So Yeah, here you go. Ask and you shall receive. All 7 listeners, please send us your requests.
Give us this day a daily beard. So yeah, LinkedIn. I believe Nitin, our first story this week is very much from our professional network on LinkedIn through our what do you call it informal network of
Yeah.
LinkedIn about a fake network on LinkedIn.
So there are levels to this. So first, let us set the stage. And listeners of Leftover Lasagna don't know about the Bits and Pieces podcast. And one of the many people in the Bits and Pieces gang is, of course, our very good friend PGK Praveen Gopalakrishnan, who is a bit of a comedian on WhatsApp and a huge fan of R. Ashwin, but is known in professional circles as the chief operating officer of the Ken, one of India's leading business journals, right, or business publications. One of the first few fully paid for subscription based publications, and hence claims to be at least a very unbiased and straightforward sort of news outlet.
Oh, you're saying because it doesn't have advertising, they're not pressured into being biased. Okay.
Yeah, famously don't do any advertising. It is a subscription based publication, and hence the only way they get publicity is through unpaid media like us, who is promoting them now needlessly. But anyway, so PGK also, as part of the Ken, writes this famous newsletter called the Nut Graph, which, by the way, I believe is the best thing to come out of the Ken's table. So even if you don't get a subscription to the Ken, definitely check out some of the free what do you call it, not episodes, what do you call it, editions, one of the free editions of the Nut Graph, which you might like. But so this story, which emerged on LinkedIn, is tangentially related to the Ken. I'm going to read this out. So this is from a person called Priyanka Pani.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is the post. It says, podcast scam alert. Dear friends in media, PR, and startups, podcasts are increasingly becoming a source of scams. And unfortunately, we fell victim to one. Dear reader, at this stage, I must tell you, this podcast is not a scam.
It's not a scam.
This is a very authentic podcast. The Ken, a leading media publication, has a podcast called The First Principles, and we were excited when we got an opportunity for our clients to participate. However, we soon realized that we were being scammed by imposters who closely copied the Ken's logo and shared the publication's original website with us. Wow, how difficult must that be? My initial concern was the rupees 10,000 fee that they requested, but they claimed it was a new initiative at supporting upcoming startups, justifying the platform fee. It seemed too good to be true, but since many legitimate podcasts include commercials, this one doesn't, we had no reason to doubt them. We only discovered the truth later when the founder of the Ken, the original founder of the original Ken, Rohin Dharmakumar, alerted one of our clients about the scam. By then, we had already produced 4 podcasts with these fake first principles. Yeah. She then also put out a public service announcement, right? So, Ms. Priyanka Pani, please be cautious of individuals named Tamina or Nilava, who may reach out to you on behalf of the First Principles podcast. So these were the names of the scammers that she put out. And apparently these 2 people were...
Yeah, and their phone numbers are also...
Yeah, so they've been doxxed also. They apparently also were a part of many of these PR WhatsApp groups, so media and PR groups, and hence it seemed like they were hiding in plain sight and were able to get this through. But here's the funniest part, is the signature of Priyanka Pani, which says, thank you, Priyanka Pani, founder, Nutgraph PR and Media Advisory.
Now, which is the original Nutgraph, which is the
exactly.
fake
She only told us about the fake Ken and the fake First Principles, but now she's claiming to probably be the original Nutgraph. So the joke, of course, is that Nutgraph is also the name of the newsletter, which is hosted on the Ken. So you see the insidious chain that presents itself here, right? You have the original Ken, which conducts original podcasts and has original newsletters. Then you have a PR agency. Now, this agency or whatever this Nutgraph, this other Nutgraph is a middleman, right? They claim that they were approached by someone acting like the Ken. So you already have 3 parties here. Right? You have the original Ken, you have the fake Ken, and you have this middleman who is then supposed to go and source startups. CEOs, of course.
Yeah, this whole situation, like we had a monetizable route earlier when someone paid a famous podcaster to not release an episode by paying him 20,000 rupees.
Yes.
Like similar monetization potential is here. Dear CEOs, if you would like to feature on Leftover Lasagna, please pay us 5,000 rupees. We don't even need 10,000. Come one, come on.
Yeah.
But the best part about this, which PGK himself
Yeah.
pointed out to us, was that they sat and recorded for 2 hours without realizing, bro, who the fuck are you?
To which, of course,
Oh,
Tony, you
man.
believe that they probably did not record anything, right? It's possible that they were acting like they were recording something,
Yeah,
but actually,
correct.
it was just, they just had a tape running round and round to
Yeah.
make it seem like it was getting recorded.
Or maybe it was just like AI generated host, right? We know that the final stage of everything is AI spam calling. No, AI spam calling and your AI answering and them talking to each other. Actually, the final stage is you and me making reels from this podcast, which only we see and appreciate. But one level before that is AI
Yeah.
talking to AI. But I'm pretty sure, given like the general demeanor of CEOs, etc., on LinkedIn, their lack of self-awareness is tremendous. It is possible that it was hosted by a AI bot, right? And in UK, they're actually bringing back a ghost to record a podcast. Have you heard
What?
about this?
No, could you please say more? Well, you summon that, right? The beauty is that it's not even surprising that this entire transaction took place. Typically, and this again
Yeah.
is something that PGK only pointed out to us, CEOs hungry for giving gyan, handshake, meeting PR people who know nothing, which is basically PR people, is actually a very monetizable market if you think about it. Because it's a two-sided marketplace
Correct.
where, there is a supply and demand that very beautifully handshakes with each other. And credit to those scammers,
This is
who,
true.
by the way, also have now entered that LinkedIn thread, posting comments trying to absolve themselves. One of the scammers has said, "We got this lead from someone else, and hence, it's not our mistake. This was Tamina." And then Nila also pointed out, by the way, I have my own podcast which gets featured in Spotify and other platforms. In the month of May, we were approached by Piyush to collaborate in sharing clients. So apparently, there are more levels to this that we have not yet unearthed. Yeah.
So, is this our future? Should we just be like recording CEOs of podcasts?
Well, I'm already recording a podcast with a
podcasts.
partner of Tata Consulting. So
Day. I am not the CEO of you. But so this, what I mentioned to you was that there is this BBC presenter who's passed away called Sir Michael Parkinson. There is an AI version of Sir Michael Parkinson who's set to host a podcast. And if you listen to like the audio version of this, it is really, really scary, right? Because this guy has countless number of hours of footage, which he has done more than 2,000 interviews, and they've used that to record a podcast, right? Which means that they will call someone like a Richard Osman into the studio, and basically there is no prompt or anything. The AI itself will do the podcast in this guy's sound, which is quite amazing.
So my question is it only the voice that is being mimicked, or are the questions also being generated by something like an artificial intelligence of this person itself? So
It has learned from around 2000. Yeah, it's built on the knowledge of around 2000.
so there's no
interviews that
script.
he's
It's just
done, right?
it's
So it's
completely
like,
impromptu. It's just the AI doing this
impromptu
without
without
telepromptu.
promptu.
Yeah.
And so Richard Osman's point here was that in some senses this is more authentic than a real interview, because in real interviews apparently producers prompt questions in the ear of the anchor, but here there is no scope to prompt. So in that sense this is more organic.
Not to mention, in real interviews, people put on a mask, right? They tend to be fake. So no, I'm serious, right? So your AI could
Correct, this
actually
is
be
true.
very selective if it is a cognitive AI that can go in and figure out exactly what you're thinking as opposed to what you're projecting.
next
It
level.
can actually produce the most honest content.
Hmm.
Who knows? Yeah. You must have heard the song that went viral recently. It was subject to a lot of reels and hook steps. This song that features Rajnikant and Manju Warrior from the Malayalam film industry. It's Manasilayo.
Manasilayo.
Now, you know who sang Manasilayo?
Hmm.
It was sung by the ghost of Malaysia Vasudevan, who has long been dead. So a very popular playback singer in Tamil
nice.
cinema. So I don't think this is the first time that the AI or whatever, a simulation of someone's a dead person's voice has been used. And this one actually led to some controversy. So the permission had to be given by Mr. Malaysia Vasudevan's family, that they were okay with this. But then that led to other follow-up questions as to who's the family to actually give permission for this, because the only person who can provide this permission is actually not in the room anymore. How did the family get the rights to? But anyway, the song was a super hit, and it sounds incredibly like the original.
Malaysia Vasudevan, famously from Kuala Lumpur, KL, and people who thought this was the original Malaysia Vasudevan were KLPD, basically. Right?
See, one of the points that this entire thread raises is this question of paying for publicity, right? I must confess, in one of my roles, my company paid for us to go and receive, what later turned out to be a completely fake award, which didn't really matter. Yeah.
Correct.
CMO Asia Awards.
Paying for awards is very
out.
much. Oh, it is
Have you heard of
CMO Asia.
CMO Asia Awards? Yeah.
I've heard of it.
Random. Anyone who shows up gets an award. You just need to pay whatever, $5,000.
Oh, really?
They give you a fake trophy. Yeah. I flew from Bangalore to Bombay with a colleague of mine. We were very happy to receive the award. Once we were there, we were like, we've not heard of any of these companies that are winning awards. So who are these people? We later found out that it was just a random list of people who were willing to pay $5,000 to have their company's name featured on a website and did extremely ridiculous looking trophies.
Yeah, at least it's better than 6th place medals in Frisbee made of genuine leather.
Oh my god. Someday in life, my fake AI at least will win a real authentic medal. Yeah, it is coming.
The problem is there are too many people and too few roles and no real way of identifying anyone. So you can very easily scam your way into careers, right?
Or you can write 200 words and pay 20 lakhs and become chief of staff at Zomato. So that's another way to ensure that you make it all the way. Which reminds me also of another video that I was just looking at. The IPL and the IPL auctions have been in the news recently, which is the time of the year when Lalit Kumar Modi, who is hiding somewhere in the United Kingdom, crops up out of nowhere. In a new interview with YouTuber Raj Shamani, he has actually said, he went and studied in, I think, Princeton or somewhere. Duke. And apparently he paid someone to fake write the SAT on his behalf and scored whatever 1550 out of 1600 and apparently faked all his report cards from class 1 to class 12 and everything.
And in order to take the GRE, right, he basically created a fake license with his photo and that guy's name or something like that, or that guy's photo and his name.
So my brother his license actually expired many years back, his driving license. So what did he do? Like any law-abiding citizen, he should have gone and renewed the license before it lapsed. Except he just took a copy of my license and he carries it with him everywhere. He has rented cars by showing that license. Apparently nobody checks. They just check whether you have a license, right? Unless you get into trouble.
Yeah, but a gentleman show ID card, but you are assuming that the photo on the ID card matches your face, right? This is even older than your LinkedIn profile.
Generic, badly photographed people with beards look the same, so it's not difficult. Do you look anything like the photograph you have on your ID card? I can guarantee you don't. No, even if it was taken today, you probably don't. I know I don't look like mine. I look more like my brother than me.
No, but the bigger scam, since hopefully PGK is still listening to this podcast, Nitin Sundar has been continuing to receive the nut graph in his email, even though he's not paid for it for over a year.
I have no idea how that works.
PGK, please check that one.
No, I think I've paid in full for next 5 years subscription to Nutgraph. Give how much publicity I've done for that newsletter just today. Come on, PGK.
Lalit Modi, man. What?
Yeah.
The best part about that interview is I don't understand a word of what he's saying. Okay, it's like one incoherent angle. Yeah.
I just spent a moment of silence for all the headline writers and Ravi Shastri and all these other people who kept proclaiming that Lalit Kumar Modi, the visionary, the Moses who parted the seas, because he came up with the IPL. Which, I mean, it's not like he pulled an idea out of thin air. He just happened to be the person in charge of the IPL when it launched and was promptly kicked out within 3 years for being extremely corrupt and intolerably full of himself. Yeah.
Speaking of faking it till you make it, which is basically LinkedIn awards, Lalit Modi, not PGK, but everything else, R. Ashwin, all of these things. It is even funnier when inadvertent mistakes happen, right? Which happened to Wicked, the movie, which is basically a musical fantasy. They launched merchandise along with it, which is toys,
Okay.
right? Around the movie Wicked. But what happened was the website of the movie Wicked is actually wickedmovie.com because wicked.com apparently is a
Oh.
porn site. Right? Nitin acting like he doesn't have a profile picture on wicked.com. But
No, so wicked.com, unlike, see, usually when we have the situation where someone else has your website name, it's because they are squatting. But in this case, it is not just domain squatting, they're squatting and doing other dirty things also at the same time. So
no, they were not squatting,
that's
they
what
were
I'm
there
saying.
before.
Hey, that totally I'm saying that. So they're squatting in a different way. Right? Useless fellow, tube late.
But this reminds me of several things, including there was this. You remember the famous match in the MCG where Virat Kohli basically pulled off the match out of nowhere against Pakistan.
Yeah, I've only seen it like 758 times on Star Sports, so I won't forget.
The next several days, I downloaded that and I was watching on my laptop. So much so that Rosanna came in on the third day and she's like, "Are you still watching it?" And I'm like, "No." Quickly, I switched the tab and I said, "I'm watching porn," like, because it was too shameful to admit that we're doing this again.
It's called a master bait and switch hit. Yeah.
You remember Red Bus had this thing where lots of workers in Bangalore would take a bus on Friday and return on Sunday night, right? And so a lot of the time that you spend in office is checking for buses to book and all that. So they created a thing where if you like tab or click a button, it suddenly changes into an Excel sheet, right? So or they have an Excel sheet version of booking the bus. So your boss, if he comes from behind, doesn't suddenly realize this is happening. So,
hey, what are you doing? Buying ticket? No, sir, Jira ticket.
but do you remember the most famous interview that was telecast by pure accident happened on BBC? Okay, this was around the time when music streaming was happening, right? And there was this guy. His name is Guy, actually, a guy called Guy Goma, who had come into the BBC studios for an interview as an IT guy. Okay, and so they're like, okay, wait here, and suddenly he's pulled into a studio, and he's like, okay, maybe it's BBC. They're trying to sort of ask me or put me in situations where I'm feeling at home and stuff like that. Except they were about to do a news segment with a technology journalist called Guy Cuny, right? And this was around the Apple Core versus Apple Computer legal dispute, right? No, Apple Core was the label that was created by the Beatles, right? It is CORPS, but pronounced Core, sounding like Apple Core. So then when Apple Computer started years later, they could never basically enter anything into the music space under Apple because these guys would keep suing them over and over again. So that is what this was about, that which in itself is a different interesting story. But Guy Goma, I think we need to watch this video.
All mean for the industry and the growth of music online. Well, Guy Cuny is the editor of the technology website News Wireless. Hello, good morning
Suddenly
to
he
you.
is Guy Cuny.
Good morning.
Were you surprised by this verdict today?
I'm very surprised to see this verdict to come on me because I was not expecting that. When I came, they told me something else, and I'm coming. You got an interview there, so it's a big surprise anyway.
A big surprise.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. With regards to cost that's involved, do you think now more people will be downloading online?
Actually, if you can go everywhere, you're gonna see a lot of people downloading to the internet and the website, everything you want. But I think it's much better for the development and to improve people what they want and to get on the easy way and so fast the things they're looking for.
This does really seem to be the way the music industry is progressing now, that people want to go onto the website and download music.
Exactly. You can go everywhere on the cyber cafe and you can check. You can go easy. It's going to be very easy way for everyone to get something to the internet.
Thank you, thanks very much indeed. I think we can...
Two things. Firstly, his expression when the penny drops, right? He goes like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But the composure on this guy to sit through this, right?
He doesn't let the mask
He doesn't
slip.
let the mask slip. And also, by the way, this is also a comment on the nature of the person interviewing him, because he's actually said, I'm not supposed to be here. She has not heard him at all. She doesn't care.
Correct.
She just has a set of questions. You say
Obviously.
something, I'll go on to the next question. What this video does not show is that BBC now has a new IT manager. His name is Guy Cuny, and he has got the job. He's busy fixing routers.
Behind the scenes, he's like, have you tried turning it off and turning it on again?
Oh my god, this is one of the funniest videos. Yeah.
No, but the best part is this guy's asked a question and he actually gives the correct
sorry.
answer, right? He's asked about the future of music and he's like, yeah, it is streaming, it is online, it is very easy.
It's all plug and play. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah,
They
amazing.
thought they can get any guy to give the expertise.
This Wicked story is amazing because it's not even like you can fix it with a sticker, right? Like normally what they do is in case there's a mistake, you just put a sticker on top. But if you just like scratch out the sticker, wicked.com will still be there. They printed the boxes of the dolls with wicked.com. The best part will be wicked.com now launches dolls of the sex doll variety, right? With wickedmovie.com printed.
You know what the tagline is, right? The joke writes itself so that you can do it yourself. So on that LinkedIn thread, to close the loop, right? Inevitably, someone in the comments thread pointed out, just curious, is it just a coincidence that the Ken has a newsletter called the Graft, which is also the name of your agency? To which Priyanka Pani replies, she is already very irritated, bugged and flustered, and maybe even embarrassed to have been taken for a ride. I don't know why people are reacting with funny emojis to your post. My agency is called Nutgraph PR and Media Advisory, and it is not called the Nutgraph. Thank you. I won't take any more comments on this.
The theme of this episode is scams, right? And the biggest scam is art, right? Valuation of art is probably the biggest scam that exists because beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder or the guy who wants to launder money and basically store value in something that is frameable.
So that he himself does not end up frameable. Recently, there was a picture of, there was a real banana that was duct taped onto a frame to look like, a painting or a photograph or whatever.
Yeah.
Which went up for auction, right? And this banana,
it is called Comedian.
It was sold for $6.2 million, right?
Now, just to put this in context, it is probably twice as expensive as the most expensive IPL player, right? So this banana is worth 2 punts. 2 Rishabh punts equal to 1 banana.
Yeah, but where is the other banana?
Okay.
$6.2 million spent on a banana that was framed. No, since we're talking about bananas and, one thing that I always struggle to compute or to wrap my brain around is whenever I go to Starbucks, right? Starbucks now, I don't know how it is in India, but in Dubai, they just sell bananas also. So you can buy coffee, you can buy, a cookie or whatever.
What?
They also have bananas.
Starbucks sells bananas?
And there are simple single bananas. You can't buy like a bun.
Is this only in Dubai?
Probably only in Dubai. I have not checked in other Starbucks.
Is this a fake Starbucks?
It's there in every Starbucks. And the bananas there, single bananas, are priced at 5 dirhams. Okay. And 5 dirhams is basically 120 Indian rupees. So you can guess what the price of one banana is, right? By Dubai standards, it's probably not expensive. But in my head, I'm always like, because you can go to the local grocery and buy like, for the same quantity, buy like a kg of bananas. But unironically, Starbucks, I thought, used to sell the most expensive bananas until I came across this news piece where, Comedian was sold for $6.2 million. Now, who is this person who is paying money to?
Previously, the most expensive banana was sold at 221 rupees. Because if you remember, there was this actor called Rahul Bose who had complained that a 5-star hotel in Chandigarh had charged him rupees 442 for 2 bananas. Right? And we don't know if he got the other banana, but anyway. So this was Rahul Bose's tweet, and he's put a video also. You have to see it to believe it.
So I'm shooting in Chandigarh and I'm staying at this beautiful suite at the JW Marriott, where they give you all these elegant freebies like these chocolate cookies and God knows how much these beautiful flowers must have cost. But get this, I was in the gym and I asked for 2 bananas while I was working out. And of course, I got the bananas. Check the bill out. They're just too good for me. Well done, JW Marriott Chandigarh.
So this has now broken the record for the most expensive banana, which was previously held by JW Marriott Chandigarh. Right? So well played to comedian by Mauricio Catalan.
Mauricio Catalan
Right.
became a 6 millionaire, and the person who helped him get there is this man called Justin Sun, the founder of the cryptocurrency platform Tron, TRON, all caps. Justin Sun is the person who paid $6.2 million to buy this banana. And he later explained why he bought the banana. He said, "This piece represents a cultural phenomenon that bridges the world of art, memes, and the cryptocurrency community." When I read this, I was very confused because memes and the cryptocurrency community are basically the same thing. He also said, "The latest version of comedian won't last long. In the coming days, I will personally eat the banana as part of this unique artistic experience, honoring its place in both art history and popular culture." To put it in a nut graph, Justin Sun bought a banana in jest, and then he ate the banana, Sun, in jest. So there you go.
Ingest.
In jest.
What an injustice.
People in the cryptocurrency world are probably a little cuckoo, right? And as a founder of a cryptocurrency platform, he clearly has $6.2 million of real money in pocket money that he can throw at a banana. Now, by the way, this person, Catalan, right, or whatever his name is, this is not the first time he's been in news. Mauricio Catalan, who's the artist who came up with this piece of art. Do you know what he is famous for, or what he was famous for before this film?
Golden toilet, no?
Say more.
He created a fully functional golden toilet.
Better be fully functional. Imagine if you create a golden toilet that shit doesn't go.
No, but it is called America, basically. Yeah. Right? So the fully functional golden toilet is called America. That is the American dream.
Yeah.
So,
and who was the golden toilet supposed to be sold to? So Donald Trump has just come back, or will be soon coming back into power at the start of the next year. I think sometime during his earlier term, Donald Trump wanted a Van Gogh painting, an 1888 Van Gogh painting, which he wanted to install, I think, in the White House or in one of the quarters, right? And he requested the Guggenheim Museum to give him the Van Gogh painting. And the Guggenheim said, "We will not be giving you that painting." And this is, I quote, this is what the spokesperson said: "I'm sorry to inform you that we are unable to participate in this loan, since this painting is a part of the museum's Tannhauser collection, which is prohibited from travel except in the rarest of occasions." By the way, this means that ye Tannhaus ka hai, main bahar nahi de sakta, is what the spokesperson was saying. However, the curator also added that a gold toilet created by Italian artist Maurizio Catalan was available to the White House for a long-term loan. It is, of course, extremely valuable and somewhat fragile, but we would provide all the instructions for its installation and care, Ms. Spector added. The fully functional exhibit, titled America, is seen as a pointed satire on the excessive wealth in the US. Now, Donald Trump's office did not respond to this offer and did not take up the golden toilet.
Yeah.
But so beautiful. See, America is going to the dogs. Right? There's no question about it. The fact that Donald Trump is back for a second term, that collection of words itself is so scary if you think about it. Says that it is going to the dogs. But still, as you know, a person running a museum, you can do something of this sort and get back at the President of the United States with a very pointed barb of this nature. So, yeah.
This is nothing. You will say in India, people actually go to the toilet in the museum creating works of art.
Take selfie on the golden toilet. Pants.
You know this these stories around how people steal bridges in Bihar and all of that, right? Like real bridges. Imagine if we steal a part of the railway track, right, where people sit every morning to do their business, and install that
Yeah,
as art somewhere. How much do you think it is worth?
not very much.
Now,
Yeah.
when you think of a banana, you are thinking of this one banana that has existed all throughout, which is called the Cavendish banana, right? But the best part is that it has become universal only because of capitalism. The best part is the banana flavor that you taste, right? Whether it's in chewing gum or anywhere else, does not taste like this banana at all, right? Because banana flavor was created when the previous universal banana was in vogue, which is called the Gros Michel banana, till it was devastated by the Panama disease, right? And this Cavendish has since taken over. But the fun part is if you live in a place like Kerala, where there is not a banana republic, but lots of bananas, you've grown up eating at least 10, 15 different types of banana, right? And so Kerala tourism actually took this as an opportunity to sort of do their thing, right? This is a brilliant handle. And as always, they basically came up with something saying priceless bananas from
Lovely.
Kerala, right? With 6 different types of bananas of different sizes, shapes, colors, etc. etc.
Brilliant.
So there is more than one banana. Bananas contain multitudes, is what we want to do.
That brings an end to the Krishna Shok section of this podcast.
Fake masala lamb.
No, since you mentioned the fact that, in India bridges get stolen, there was this very disturbing news in Bareilly a few days back. There is a very chastening image to go with this, which is there is a bridge, but it's half built, right? So the bridge literally stops, and then there is, a steep drop from there. So there was a car. So the people in the car were following Google Maps and driving on this bridge. And Google Maps wrongly was showing them that, there was a road ahead. And these guys were not looking at the bridge and the fact that the bridge was over. And they just fell over, right? They fell into a river which had no water. So down a partially constructed bridge. Yeah. And police have booked officials of the Public Works Department and Google Maps in connection with the death of 3 men whose car rolled over an under construction bridge while following directions on the navigation app.
Can't laugh.
They were on their way from
Disturbing
Noida to Faridpur in Bareilly to attend a wedding. Yeah. They got bad type of Bareilly ka barfi.
This was not a bridge. Yeah. This was not a bridge, but this was abridged. They haven't built the full thing. The contractor has contracted the bridge, basically. And only half of it is there. This reminds me of the Japanese way of protest, right? And the correct way to do strikes is the Japanese way, wherein there is the shoe factory in Japan, apparently. I don't know if it's real or made up, which would only make left shoes during strikes. And then once the strike was resolved, they'd make all the right shoes. So you would maintain production levels. It sounds very fake.
No, but you and me would have been fine because we have 2 left feet, both of us.
Chants pay dance.
This reminds me of another thing. Do you know that with footwear, you can always get 3 for the price of 2? Always. I'm talking about pairs. So rather, you can get 6 for the price of 4. Especially if you're buying
What does it mean?
So let me explain. So the last time I was looking to buy
Relaxo Bahamas.
I was looking to buy something like Relaxo Bahamas. There is a popular brand, a cheap brand in Dubai called Havaianas. Very, very creative. So Havaianas, Hawaii chappals. I think there was either Amazon had free delivery for minimum order of something, or there was some kind of discount for buying 2 pairs. So I bought 2 pairs of those chappals, right? I only needed one, obviously, because famously I only have 2 feet, right? And I don't wear them on my hands. Now what happened? I started wearing my first pair, right? And my wife was like, "Why the hell did you buy 2 pairs? No, we have to keep this, and it's going to gather dust." I was like, "You wait." And I kept it inside, and I wore 1 pair, right? And things were fine for about 8 months. At which point, like all flip flops do, one of them, the strap broke, right? So, and there's no question of fixing it again. So I put away that pair, started using the second pair. At which point, I told my wife, "See, now it's coming in handy."
You mean footy?
Came footy, yeah. So that shows you, right? She questioned my my farsightedness when I bought 2 pairs, but now they were getting used. Except a few days later, she was back asking me, "Are you out of your rocker?" And the reason she asked me this was because
Not out of your rocker. This sounds like you're a baby who sleeps in one of those small rockers. Are you off
threw
your
the metaphor
rocker?
out with the bathwater. Oh fuck! I would have had to edit it out, but now with the comeback, I have to keep it. These are the kind of problems real podcast hosts face.
Correct.
If an AI was delivering this podcast, the joke itself wouldn't have come into being. Please listen to real podcasts.
It's like a boomerang chapel. If you throw it, it'll come back.
Right. So she came back to me after a few days and said, have you lost your mind? I asked her, why? What's the problem? She said, why have you retained the one unbroken slipper from your first pair? I again said, you wait, it'll come in handy. Now you can join the dots and see where this is going, right? A few months later, what happened? Again, one of the slippers in the new pair broke. But the one that broke happened to be the one that did not break the first time. So now I have the left slipper from the new pair and the right slipper, which I retained from the old pair.
Yeah.
And now I have my third pair of slippers, which I got for the price of 2. So this is something that you should follow in your life as
Nice.
well. Right?
You mean only one pair of shoes, but in Hindi you have two
Correct.
pair.
Yeah.
दो पैर पे दो पैर वाले जो
Yeah, wow.
मारो मुझ पे चप्पल मारो ऐसा कुछ. But do you know what is we spoke about the most expensive banana. What's the most expensive shoe?
I have no idea. Is it like an actual shoe or
I'll give you the year.
Michael Jordan?
It's probably 2008.
Oh, is this some Michael Jackson thing which he wore to his last?
No, I think this would have been the shoe that was thrown at George Bush's face.
I remember someone went and put black ink on Sharad Pawar's face or some other politician's face. This was suddenly an epidemic in India. It happened like 2-3 times back to back. Yeah. I don't remember the shoe.
Yeah. This guy took off 2 shoes, threw the first one. Bush quickly ducked the first one. And the second one hit the US flag, right? Which means that a Saudi businessman offered $10 million to buy the shoes thrown by the journalist, right? And the shoe, Ducati Model 271, was renamed the Bush shoe and later the Bye Bye Bush shoe, and is manufactured by Biden Shoe Company in
Biden Shoe Company.
Biden. B-A-Y-D.
Within Democratic Party, full ambush is happening.
Yeah, no beating around the bush. But speaking of scams, we have to speak about the Malayali who is constantly on Twitter speaking out against scams, fighting against the Punjabi cricketer. This apparently is news.
You know, what is surprising to me is that 28 episodes in, we have still not spoken about Liver Doctor, who is a very popular Twitter personality.
I don't know if I've told
No,
you.
not.
He is my brother, famously Sachin. Is Sachin's classmate from school.
Well, why is the Liver Doc not on Leftover Lasagna yet as a guest? You don't answer. I know why. Because he will cancel the shit out of us. All our half-baked takes. For the first time ever, the Liver Doc will be on a crusade, not just against medical misinformation, but misinformation in general, if he were to come on this podcast. Yeah. So the Liver Doctor, he's actually a liver doctor, and he works in Kerala. His name is Dr. Abhi Phillips, and there is a wonderful episode of him on The Seen and the Unseen, which we have plugged once again on this podcast. Amit Verma, what does it take for you to give us some money now? He talks about his experience as a liver doctor from Kerala. You have a lot of people dying due to liver failure, largely because of alcohol abuse. And men. Yeah, I was trying not to be sexist, but there you go.
We know famously life expectancy is higher for women than men. Unless you are Kamal Hassan and Sridevi.
Sri Vidya. But Sridevi also died. Ayyo, wow.
Okay, anyway. Dude, I don't do how we do this every week. And at the end of it, there is an episode that doesn't sound half bad on listen, right? Like, I think magic, like I said, is 1.5x. If you play it on, everything sounds more profound than it is. This is why The Seen and the Unseen people find very fascinating, because everyone's playing it at 2x, right? Because Amit Verma deliberately speaks slowly, so 1.5x doesn't seem fast enough. So you play it on 2x, and before your brain can process, the next idea has come, and therefore it feels like a profound podcast. So, dear listeners, if you want this podcast to sound more intelligent, Please play it at 4x.
We will be left with no other recourse than to follow Amit Verma's strategy and release 10-hour-long episodes. Do you know that Seen and the Unseen has massive repeat audience? It has massive repeat audience because by the time you reach the end, you've forgotten the first half. Then you have to listen to the first half again. And this is an endless loop, right? So everything is everything at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Abby Phillips, the liver doc, since he did that episode, I think that's when he became quite popular, at least in the Indian social space. He's quite popular on Twitter.
No, he used to write about his cases basically on Twitter, where like people would.
He was already popular. Yeah,
generally, people would come not with alcohol abuse, but with usually like taking some Ayurvedic supplement, which is like fried their liver. Right. This was basically his claim to fame. Was he exposed a lot of these cases where it is because you take some supplement, some Ayurvedic thing which seems harmless or like is supposed to help, but actually fries.
Exactly. So he is extremely strongly up in arms against the entire Ayush, movement, which is Ayurveda, Unani.
Correct.
What else? Siddha, Homeo, and something else. What else? Yes.
Correct. Is the Y yoga?
I don't think it's yoga.
What is Y?
I think it's Ayurveda. AY. I think they thought Aush doesn't make any sense.
Oh, really?
Ayush.
Why? Aush sounds like medicine, no? Aushadam. Yeah, it's yoga, da.
Yoga?
Ayurveda, yoga and naturopathy, Unani, Siddha.
Oh man. Regulation of Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani and homeopathy. ASU and H medicines. Yeah. Some yojanas there. There's no yoga in it as far as I know.
Hey, I'm reading from Ministry of Ayush website. Right?
Ministry of Misinformation. Anyway, he's against all of these things. More broadly, he's against anything that has not been...
He's against unscientific
stuff that has not been scientifically proven with longitudinal studies and the whole shebang.
Double-blind tests.
And not only is he against them, he will also go after anyone who is promoting or promulgating any of these things with a vengeance, and I would even say with a little bit of spite. And he doesn't mince his words.
Was it Samantha who?
Yeah, Samantha Ruth Prabhu, and he went Samantha ruthlessly after her.
He went ruthlessly after her.
Yeah,
Prabhu.
Yeah.
Okay.
And his most recent victim is the former Indian cricketer Navjot Sidhu, who also had a victim. But anyway, we are digressing.
No, but he was talking about his wife,
Navjot Sidhu. Yeah. Navjot Kaur, I believe his wife's name is a cancer survivor, and she went through treatment and recovered and is in remission right now. And Sidhu, the cricketer, the husband, put out a post, and I think there was some video clip saying that one of the things, or rather the way he created it, he said, yes, of course, the doctors took care of her and there was treatment and all, but he believes that the biggest reason for her recovery was the fact that she managed to completely change her diet. She cut out sugar, she cut out milk, and she cut out a bunch of things, and basically went into a calorie, deficient diet, and also took a few, Ayurvedic stuff. I don't even remember what all she mentioned there, or he mentioned there. I think there was turmeric and there was some other stuff. I think he talks about turmeric specifically.
You're saying she got haldi.
Yeah. Anyway, so good luck to her. She is in remission now, which is good news, of course. The liver doctor went after Navjot Sidhu like a raging bull for his ignorance and promoting, unscientific cures that are rooted in Ayurveda, etc. I do feel not to, flag a beaten metaphor to death, but I do feel that the liver doctor is throwing the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to attacking people. And they believes in certain things. He does have a point that celebrities need to be careful about what they say, because in a country like India, very often, just because something comes from a famous person, it's taken as gospel. But at the same time, I think the way he does it is quite abrasive. Yeah.
More than that, we've spoken about this, is that facts don't change people's minds. I don't know if you remember, there's this absolutely crazy video which was live on India TV from a few years ago, where there is this rationalist, very famous rationalist called Sanil Edamargu, again a Malayali, who goes up against this tantric guru who basically says, all of this is real. I can just kill you with some mantras. And he's like, okay, kill me. And this is live on TV, so much so that they first broadcast it for an hour. Then he's like, okay, no, I can't kill you here. You come to this place at night, then I will kill you. But this is an amazing video, dude. But the whole point is that finally, obviously, Sanil Edamargu doesn't die. What do you mean? we know? What did you expect the climax was? He
I
dropped
absolutely
it.
believe you can. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. You can hypnotize people and make them do shit. I mean, if I were a powerful hypnotist and I were cruel, I could hypnotize you right now and make you go and, fall down from a bridge. Why not? You're glad that Eda Marg did not go to the Marg. Yeah.
Very good. This is actually a 20-minute video, but please watch it at leisure. And then there is a part 2 to it where he's.
So why will I watch this?
So because it's fine.
I'd say I'd give that guy credit though, yeah, for bravely going and standing there, because you don't know what this guy might end up doing.
So he's done more scary stuff, right? Actually going against religions in Kerala everywhere, right? Like I think there was something dripping from a statue of Jesus or Mary or something, and people were going and collecting that water. He basically exposed that it is some plumbing fault or something like that. That is more dangerous than actually going live on a studio with a guy who's trying to kill you, right? Like using a mantra. But anyway, the point is facts don't change people's opinion. A lot of it ends up being performative. Right?
Yeah, you might not be able to change people's opinions with facts, but a crusader can always create change in other ways. So strangely, in India, the government for some reason supports unscientific pseudoscience rubbish, right? And Ayurveda and Homeo, in my opinion, are pseudoscience rubbish and also very dangerous. And it's true that most of the Ayurvedic formulations don't even have the ingredients in them, and a lot of the herbs, etc., that I use are filled with toxic shit like mercury, which people are just ingesting like there's no tomorrow. Then I was listening to this other podcast. I think it was Modern Wisdom, where there was this food crusader in the US who basically went against McDonald's and Kellogg's, especially. Do you know that Kellogg's sells the same stuff, the same cornflakes or the same cereal in the US and in Europe, but the ingredients that are used in the US are different from the ones used in Europe. So if you buy Kellogg's cornflakes in the US, I don't know if it's cornflakes or some other cereal, but some cereal from Kellogg's, if you buy in the US, it has 12 ingredients on it. The same in Europe is made up of just 4 ingredients. The EU has very, very stringent guidelines on what is allowed and what is not allowed in food products, right? Because they actually have standards.
Oh, so in EU, cookies are not allowed, very famously, because of GDPR.
So the EU actually told them you cannot sell these products in the EU because you have this rubbish content in it. So these people didn't say we will stop selling this stuff. They said, oh, it's okay, we'll remove all these and sell you healthier food, but we will continue to sell the unhealthy stuff because it is cheaper for us to produce in the US. So a pro tip to anyone listening to this podcast, try not to have fast food in America.
Are you being a serial killer? For all our listeners from America, good morning to all of them. Do you know the origin of Kellogg's cornflakes?
No.
Rounding it back, it was invented by this guy as a way to stop masturbation.
Wow, really? Please explain.
John Harvey Kellogg thought that masturbation was the worst evil.
And then he invented adding sugar to cereal.
No, his idea was that the original one didn't have as much sugar, right? It was just plain cornflakes. He believed that bland food would reduce people's urge to masturbate, right? So, again, going back to chow mein is the reason for sexual violence or some shit like that our politicians used to say. No? So, but the origin of this company itself comes from the idea that...
Interesting. Yeah, so my point is this lady actually brought about changes in some of the formulations of companies like Chick-fil-A, McDonald's and all these people just by creating awareness and crusades against big companies. So maybe if the liver doctor keeps doing what he's doing, at some stage people might not, but at least the authorities might clamp down on pseudoscience. I don't know in India if things will happen.
Where the authorities are clamping down is on him because the UP police have filed an FIR against him. So many different Ayurvedic people have filed cases against him. So yeah,
which is the case even in the US, because that lady, I forget her name. She has an Indian name, Vani something. Yeah,
Priyanka Pani.
She was apparently getting death threats, and her details, her family's details were all doxed.
From Kellogg's fans.
Obviously not directly, but they'd hired people to harass her. Death threats, rape threats, and all kinds of nasty stuff. So there you go.
Interesting. On that note, I think we have somehow managed a theme.
But what I really loved about this was we did the master of all bait and switches, because we spoke about bananas and 2 bananas and different bananas and did not Our unfortunate Tamil listeners are still waiting for us to crack the other banana joke, but we are not going to. And for our non-Tamil listeners,
Where is the other banana?
this is left as an exercise to you, dear reader. Please Google the other banana, or you will find a reference to it in one of our older episodes, because I'm sure we've spoken about it at some point. And hence,
Yeah, that's the easiest way to find it. Go back and listen to all
Yes.
our episodes. All right. This
Yes.
is fun for us.
hopefully for you also. Stories this week, by the way, were brought to you by, I believe the bridge story was shared with us by Choppy Chopper Nose. And the banana story was shared with me by my brother, Mithun Sundar, who has now become a contributing member of this podcast.
Who is you only?
Who is me, according to the driving license, but looks like my brother because it has my photograph. Now I confused you totally. You too, dear listener, can enjoy the benefits of 3 slippers for the price of 2 by becoming a contributing member to Leftover Lasagna by sending us stories that you would like to be featured on this wonderful podcast. Please hit us up on our YouTube comments or
Correct.
throw the baby out of the bathwater by sending us tweets at Noti Tony and at KNITTINS. It is a bye-bye and a goodbye
Say bye.
to all of them.